what is it that we can do as a country, like as a people, to change our story?
No, Yangi, your observation is an honest one.
Yes.
100 plus 50%. Very honest observation. When you talk of Malawi historically,
Yes.
there was a day that we began our journey
Yes.
as Malawians.
Yes.
Our first administration as a people, as a government, started with the British. And then to 1964, that's when we got our independence.
Yes.
And probably sometime soon, we'll be clocking 60 years of independence.
Yes.
In this period of 60 years, there's never been a time when a Malawian said, we are a rich nation.
Yes.
We are a comfortable nation.
Yes.
We have had our independence
Yes.
from the British to this time, and every time we have known that out there somebody says this is a country under a description of poor countries.
Yes.
It means some Malawians were born and they died being described as poor people,
Yes.
being described as people who come from a country that is struggling. Let me take you somewhere just a little bit left from what we're talking about, poverty. After the Second World War, the World Bank was established. I'm sure you've heard of the World Bank. The World Bank was established in 1944.
Yes.
After the Second World War. And its main objective was to help rebuild Europe.
Yes.
Because you know, Yangi, World War affected Europe so much,
A lot.
probably than any other continent. So the World Bank was established to rebuild Europe. We're talking of countries that were stricken by war.
Yes.
Countries that were very poor, hunger,
Vulnerable,
disease.
yes.
All these things that we're experiencing here, there were countries that were experiencing it in Europe.
In Europe.
Yes. In 1944, they wanted the World Bank to give loans and grants
Yes.
to low-income countries.
Yes.
Low to medium income countries. After they had seen that they had done a good job, they extended
That help.
that help to also help other countries in the whole world. Of course, to its members. Now, we got our independence in 1964. And since then, number one, we have received close to a minimum of 200 billion.
200 billion kwacha.
200 billion euros.
Euros.
Yes. 200 billion euros from European Union institutions. They've given us about 200 billion since not 1964, actually 1976. But since 1964, we have established Maubare, because Yangi, you must know that our budgets, if my budget they're not fully funded by us.
Yes.
We rely on foreign aid.
Yes.
From the United Nations. We get funding there. From the World Bank.
Yes.
We get funding there. From the ADB, that's the African Development Bank.
Yes.
We get funding from there.
Yes.
We are a people who day in, day out are getting money from all over.
Yes.
It's called aid.
It's called aid.
For how long? Since 1960. For 60 years, where people dependent on aid. So when we talk about foreign aid, we're talking about serious money here, Yangi.
Yes.
You talk of the United States government committed to giving us aid, a minimum of $350 million annually.
Yes.
Now, when you convert that currency for someone who probably might wish to understand what is this in Kwacha, $350 million, you're talking of a good 600 to 600, maybe 663, 65 billion. Billion.
Kwacha.
Malawi Kwacha. Now, that's what we call the bank rate.
Yes.
But if we talk of the parallel.
The black market.
Now, if you go with that money
Yes.
on the parallel,
Yes.
you're talking of a trillion. I'm telling you. So now, this is the money that we get annually.
Yes.
Remember, we're also getting money from the World Bank.
Yes.
We're also getting money from the European Union.
Yes.
We're also getting money from the ADB,
Yes.
African Development Bank.
Yes.
Now, if you put all this money together, does this country look like one that has accessed this amount of aid? Of course, we're not the only country in Africa that gets aid. so many countries that are around us that are also equally getting aid.
Yes.
But if we start comparing, say, what are they doing?
What are we doing?
How are we doing? How are they doing? How is their education? How is their healthy system? You look at transportation system, all these things are serious indicators of how probably we're managing this money. Because when you talk of size, Malawi is not a very big country.
No,
we're a very small country. In Southern Africa, the biggest population is sitting in South Africa, seconded by Mozambique. How are we managing our resources? It is a problem to do with the management of resources.
Okay. So you have talked about the donor aid. You have talked about how much money we get annually, like from all these countries that try to help us so we can become a better country. Do you think as a country we deserve to be receiving this aid?
It's been so long.
Yes.
1960 to 2024.
Yes.
And you're still receiving this money. And bear in mind, you're not just getting aid.
Yes.
We should say, are you improving after you get this aid?
Yeah, because as you were explaining it, you had said that the World Bank,
yes,
the main reason why they formulated it was to help countries in Europe.
The first country they helped.
Yes.
You might be thinking probably it's an African country. No. Remember, their objective was to rebuild Europe.
Yes.
After the Second World War.
Yes.
It means these countries were poor countries.
Yes.
I mean, they're just coming from a serious war here. We're talking of the world
People
war.
People have
here.
died. There's a genocide. Like, it's chaotic. They
it
are
was chaos.
building from
now they
from
want
the
to
ground.
rebuild their continent.
Yes.
So the first country they helped with a loan, because these guys give out loans or grants.
Yes.
So they went ahead and helped France.
Wow.
Now, if look at France.
No.
That was 19. Now listen. Let's do calculations.
Yes.
1944 is the time they established the World Bank. It was known as the International Bank.
International Bank.
Okay, so they are helping France in 1944.
That's like 80 years ago.
Actually, they helped France 2 years after the establishment.
Wow.
That should be 1946.
Yes.
They have helped France.
But look at France today.
Now, 20 years later from the establishment of the World Bank,
yes,
that's when we got our independence. It looks like they'll help us forever. It's almost a culture that we get help from World Bank.
It goes back to my question, like, as a people, do you think we still deserve this aid? Because even the people who help us will get to a point where they'll get tired. And you know that, Namadingo, like, when people are helping you, no one helps you for free. There is always something attached to that kind of a help.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, like, muntu akamakuthandiza
Yes.
kuti akukuthandiza sikuti amangokuthandizai nayeso amakhala kuti no ine ndikakuthandiza nichi nanunso mundithandiza ichichi.
Well, that's a discussion of another day.
Yes.
Because definitely when we experience such kind of things, hunger,
Yes.
somebody benefits from these things.
No.
That's a discussion we must open another day. Who benefits from these problems?
You know, like, this is the problem that I have with us as Malawians. We know the discussions that we are supposed to have. We know the things that we are supposed to do. Like, right now I'm asking you, who benefits from this aid? Who benefits from us getting this help? And you're saying, well, Yangi, this is going to be a discussion for another day. Okay, fine. I'll let it pass. I'll let it pass. Okay, fine. Hey.
No. Before we close that door,
yes,
I should tell you to say our problems are not going to be sorted by the West.
No.
By the Western world.
No.
So the World Bank will come in. The IMF will come in.
Yes.
The ADB is the African Development Bank is here in Africa.
It's right here in Africa.
But these problems that we're talking about in Malawi will be solved by Malawians.
No, that's very true.
It doesn't matter how much money we're given by the Western world.
Yes.
The problems here will be solved by the people here.
By us.
Exactly.
Because we know our
this
problems.
this money when it comes, bear in mind, Woody, when we're talking about the American government, we are giving you $350 million.
Yes.
There are certain projects that they are doing themselves.
So these projects are on top of the money that they are giving us.
Not necessarily on top. We might not know the angles. But now we know you must develop. You understand?
Yes.
Projects chipatala ichi chinamangedwa ndi ndalama za ku Japan. Anamanga nda ku Japan. Enseu anamanga ndadzikola kuti lakuti. You understand?
Yes.
Stadium iyi amanga nda ku China. Zina ngongole. You understand? Koma now you must be observant kuti zinthu zikamapangidwa anthu acha akata kupanga okha chinthu chija.
Yes.
Chimachitika chinthu. Chimachiona kuti iyo chachitika. Now ifeyo tikati tikupanga tokha. Ndi ndalama atipasa zija. Timamva mawowo ambirimbiri. There's so many examples that we can give. Let's be honest to say we have not been transparent and we have not done a good job at managing the aid that we have received, the resources that we have. Because this problem is not about the government of the day.
No.
No. The government of the day is not the government that was there in 1964.
No, actually, tikati tiyangane dziko letu anthu chokera patali.
Yes.
Tinakhalapo muulamuliro wa Samunda.
Yes.
And tinalimbana nawo kumenyana nawo ife tifuna ufulu wathu tifuna tizizamulira toka tifuna tikhala anthu ozimira patoka kenako titachoka pamene paja tinabwera dictatorship kunali leader oti no Mos kenako tinazafika siponena kuti no enough is enough, we want democracy in this country. If
we wanted the multi-party
system.
We only had one party.
Yes. Now we have seen a number of parties. Parties have come and gone. Presidents have come and gone. If we are to be honest and if we are to look back, if we are to reflect back, I will tell you this multi-party time is the time that the country has been at its worst, at its lowest. So is it safe to conclude that maybe as a people we don't deserve to have this democracy?
No. I think we deserve democracy. We deserve that our people must be able to make a decision on who has to lead us as a people. We cannot dictate it's a good system that everybody has a right to decide. You understand? Komano, we should say we have performed at our worst because of the leadership that has been there. Tikamati leadership, we're talking of a whole system here.
If you're talking about the leadership that has been there, we are separating ourselves from the leaders. But we have to consider that these leaders are picked amongst us. Tima sankatu kuchokera mwa ife toka ndene kuti kweni vuto leni ife ngata Malawi vuto leni ndi chani ende kuti chimene ife tingathe kupanga kuti kuchoka pano popita kitsogolo tikonze zinthu. What are we supposed to do?
Young, I will tell you that I once told someone, I told them, I said, it is possible to have the right leader leading the wrong people.
Yes.
If a lion is leading an army of sheep, you know what the lion can lose.
Yes.
But if a sheep is leading an army of lions, you know what lions are. Now, when we're talking of leadership in this country, you should also see the quality of people that we've produced.
Yes.
Because these people are manufactured here.
How are we producing these people?
The people that we are manufacturing as a country. I'll borrow your point. You said when we had one party system.
Yes.
Ndimeneza kalira kuchokera pa 1994 uzafika pa 2024. Probably now we have come to our west. You see from 1964 to 1994 people were still being manufactured. What kind of people were manufactured in between? Now take that crop and then compare it with the crop that you have manufactured from 1994 to 2024. Definitely it's going to be different.
Yes.
How was the education? Because education is the sector that manufactures people.
Yes.
It shapes their behaviors.
Yes.
It beautifies the personality of people.
Yes.
Who are these people? Because our only export is not just tobacco. We should know that our number one resource in this country is people.
It's the people.
So when you want to make the best tobacco, when you want to grow the best coffee, the best tea, when you want to export the best jumbo, you must also include on that list, are we manufacturing the best people? Because those people are not just for export use.
Yes.
They are here. Those are the people that are going to work in this system.
Yes.
So if you are not concerned about how do we manufacture these people, the quality of these people, then definitely we're doomed. So I will tell you to say there are times when we have had the right leaders.
Yes.
Even in the multi-party system.
Yes.
I'm not going to say who was the right leader.
But we have had them.
We've had the right leader before, in my opinion. I'm not saying that's for everybody.
Yes.
But we have had the right leader before leading the wrong people.
No, it's a shame because, if we go back to the one-party system, Namadingo, there was no AIP. You see, no one was getting fertilizer for free. The government was not struggling to give people fertilizer. But I'm telling you, we used to have bumper harvest like every year in, year out. And I think we were known as one of the countries where food was sustainable. We could be able to sustain ourselves. Where we would go farm, we have harvested and we keep some for next year.
Okay, but Yangi, the question here is, what do we do?
what is supposed to be done.
What's supposed to be done? Now, when we talk about changing things, remember I told you about manufacturing people, and I told you that this country, the number one resource that we have is people. We are in this situation because of people. We're not in this situation just because of, climate change, but who? What caused it?
Yes.
People.
Yes.
People cutting down trees. People having poor education. People are the reason why we are here.
Yes.
People are suffering because of people. Now we just need to engineer the people. So, because people are a problem, what we need to do is to put the right people in the right places.
Okay.
Exactly. It's not to get more aid from foreign nations. I mean, we've been getting aid since 1964 to date.
Yes.
Germany, I talked about Germany. Germany has had missions here since 1964 to this day. In short, if you go in our books of who is helping us, bro, Americans, the Germans, the Japanese, the Chinese, everybody is busy helping us.
No, everyone has helped us like a big time. And actually, another aspect that we have to discuss as a people, like if you look at Malawi, we have had Christianity. We have like churches, Christianity, Islam, and everything. If you look at our structures as a country, you see that our education, it's more reliant on the church than it's supposed to be. Because if you look at our government, let's just talk about the kind of schools we have. Let's say secondary schools. If you say the best schools in Malawi, you see that the best schools are from the church. The best schools are from, let's say, it's a religious thing. Should we say that as a government? Maybe we can just conclude that maybe we don't need the government. Maybe we need the church. What do you think?
Well, that's debatable, but you have a point. To an extent, I should agree. I mean, some of the schools that have produced some brilliant minds. Remember, I've told you this is a factory. It's a manufacturing program. So you talk of schools that are owned by churches, that have been established by churches. You talk of HHI, some of the greatest men that this country has produced. Hands down.
Yes.
Kafuse nunapoza school iyo akakuza
HHI,
azimaya akakuza nalumere mounty, echaminadi, all those things. So to an extent I agree with what you're saying.
Yes.
But so later on this podcast, we might also wish to break bread on nkani machalichiyo ndizipembedzo.
No, machechi atithandiza to an extent. Koma so pena pake so machalichiso, because if you antama Malawi ndantabwino, Malawi ndantofasa, it's a God fearing nation. Koma pena so mazaona so kuti palino kulekerera kumene tima zabanga kumbuyo konena kuti ndife anthu ofasa, ndife anthu aulemu. Nimaona so ngati pena so church imazabanga ku contribute.
No, of course, I mean, as a society, there are so many things that will have to come together to create the society. You understand? Yes. So you're talking of the church, because education, education is from teacher to a student to the society.
Yes.
You understand? These three things come together. So tikamaka fika no ku society kumene kuguli machalichi, kuli kayachani, you understand? It's a society. So kumene koko, I think ngani mene yotizaika bemu episode mwina mtizaita mbasule bwino chifua everybody is to contribute to where we are. Definitely the church has played a very big role kuti tilipatipo mumphawi atumo chali chilimo usaone ngati kuti yangokhala pokuti potu kuka ya koma chalichi the fear of God zimezo zilimo zimezo tizikambirana bwino because I've got certain points zimene
I think maybe we can just talk about our education. Do you think our education system many fetina yambira kuti awa ndi maphunziro ati awa ndi anthu ophunzira awa anthu anapita ku school. Do you think the kind of education that we have in Malawi is helping us to develop as a nation?
No. If our education system is in Malawi, this is a disaster. In fact, if we are set, if we're going to continue like this, we're on a collision course. We seem to be going into the eternity.
Yes.
No, we're not even going into eternity. If we continue like this,
we're just going in
we're
circles.
Going into oblivion. That's the right word. Tikomena kutingo soa. Sizokulindira pita kutiko.
Sizuzika not kulowera.
Situkuziwa kuti tikulowera kuti. And meno kunena mukuti education system, is it the right education system? No, not at all. I mean, tikamati somebody is educated. Education is enlightenment. You see, light up, that is education. Enlightenment. It means somebody was in the dark. Now they can see.
Yes.
It's even biblical. The Bible, we were in the dark, now we can see because we have received Jesus Christ. In other words, you can interpret it.
Yes.
To say, now you are educated. What what Jesus to the Christians is in the spirit world when you get born again is what education is to everybody in the physical form. It means now you are enlightened. You are born again when you are educated. You're one with the system, with the world. Because tikamata education, things will start in the womb of a woman.
Yes.
That's how you start learning. You have already learned how to suck. It means you are learning somewhere. You understand? It's a graduation. I was feeding through the umbilical. Now I'm feeding through the mouth. But I learned somewhere.
Yes.
It was implanted in you. Now let's move from there. How are you going to learn how people work in a society? How do they work? School. Those are just institutions. In America, in Europe, even here in Africa, some families are going to say, "No, we're going to school our kids." The richest man in the world at some point in time, I don't even know what Chelsea football club, Abramovich. I looked up on him. His kids were not going to school.
Yes, they were doing homeschooling
at home.
Yes.
So if you go to school, building it doesn't mean now that's the certification you are educated.
No.
Now in this society that we're living in, there was a day I saw somebody. I'm not names withheld, but I saw somebody in Blantyre. He's driving a Range Rover, and another potato crisp. And in a time in the bank project, you remember that project?
Yeah, I know. I joined you on one of the days.
So I went. Oh, actually joined me.
Yes.
So I went ahead and followed this guy, and I met this guy, and he was an educated guy. But what he did, that showed he was not educated. He was a guy who had been to school.
Yes.
Because you know how the society functions, how the city, performs and functions. So there is no you can do that. So you're going to do that out of you went to school. Because the enlightenment stops you from doing such kind of things.
Yes.
Stops you from behaving that way. Remember, I told you that education is what shapes the behavior of somebody. So literally we can know by just seeing how someone is behaving that this guy is not an educated guy. So what our people are doing here, we've seen the ministers being accused of corruption, and let's be honest, not everybody, but we know they are corrupt people. They're not there for the people. We are in this situation because the majority. Imagine the majority were good people. What would have happened? Yes, would have had problems, but not these problems.
No, but the problems would have been smaller.
Small.
Yes.
But now this is an equation. So it means the equation is as simple as the bad people are the majority.
Yes.
Over now, nyamula pasipo kuti zinthu ziyenda kupang'ono. You understand? So tikamati abwino ndo ipa kuthandiza chani. Let's just say kuti the educated and the uneducated.
Yes.
The educated there ndo chepa. And now probably they just went to school.
Yes.
But they are not educated.
No, you have raised a very big point because the tikos on that education siringango yangana to pasi gungo yangana to pasi because vanopotika yangana beziko latu usiku tino mina nthawi kubadira nzipatala asiya kupita kwa zamba tukupanga be improve muri ngati pali ma baby steps kuti anthu watu kangati akuyenda komano ukazaonabe uonabe kuti there was a time ngati umalayi kunoko. If you looked at the number of yantu opposira inali yochepa kwambiri ni nthawi imene timakhala
no yochepa don't say inali yochepa
komano ndikona kuti compared pamene popo ndi panopo inali yochepa kwambiri komano uona kuti structures we have like let's say Nkula Falls you look at kuti the kind of electricity imene mapanga generate upeza kuti imene nkapanga generate kunoko kula anthu osaphunzira ali ku ophunzira ochepa kwambiri it's the same electricity that we are producing now. You see, even if it's laughable to be talking about mega farms. We can't be talking about mega farms today. Yet if our first president was saying, we were supposed to have these mega farms like as soon as yesterday. It's now that we are talking about mega farms and we don't know how soon we are going to realize kulima mega farms. As a country we are.
No,
we
actually, I would urge you and most Malawians probably who are watching us. To say, as Malawians, we have not taken advantage of the usage of internet.
Yes.
Internet can actually tell you more about Malawi. Malawi has never been described at some point in time whatsoever since 1964 South Africa as a mining country, which depends on mining or depends on sports or whatever. Malawi has always been identified as a country that just largely depends on agriculture. Agriculture. Now, iweyo kwambira 1964 akakuti anthu amanena zoti iweyo nde mlemeo
yes
mpaka 2024 I don't think in 2024 that's when you'll be talking about mega farms.
No. We're supposed to start like
no,
way,
not at
way
all.
back.
Not at all. You understand? So yeah, I agree with you.